Warning. The following is a spoiler-filled aftershow for the comic book Vanish. If you are not caught up on the issue we are discussing, please come back after picking up the comic and supporting its creative team. In the mistlands of Everkeep, a war was fought. A war which has now come here to our world. Magical beings walk amongst us. Are they here to save this world or destroy it? Our hosts have been following Vanish since its conception, and now we will be discussing each issue and filling you in on our thoughts and insider knowledge. Join us as we explore this new series from creators Ryan Stegman and Donnie Cates. Welcome to the Ravens of Everkeep!
Welcome everyone to the next episode of the Ravens of Everkeep, a Vanish Aftershow. Today we will be discussing Vanish Issue 3. Joining us as always is Abigail Mendoza.
What's up?
Daniel.
Hey everyone.
The Rogue Jedi Meech.
Salutations.
And I'm Ryan Michael Toon. Let's start the show.
We are at episode 3. Wow. Issue 3, episode 3. First of all, we have to always take a look at these covers. I like putting in both the finished and the pencils. Looking at this cover when I was going to check it out, I was like, we are in for a treat. And I was not wrong. So let's
it was the first time the cover yelled, "We can't do this at Marvel." You know, it was bloodier and more intense than anything they've been allowed to do in a long time. So it's amazing. It's shocking from the start.
Yeah, I really love how they're really able to capture just it's like, hey, this ain't your standard kids comic anymore, guys. We are fully unhinged, unleashed, and there will be carnage. Not Marvel.
They're really allowed to push the envelope when they're going in the. It's kind of like, I'm gonna make the comparison. You're allowed to do stuff during the nighttime that you can't do on daytime television.
That's true.
It does feel like they went to streaming or HBO. Real quick shout out. We always talk about the core team, but shout out to JP Mayer and Sonia back on those colors. Like, we saw the sketch one, which Danny just threw up for a long time, maybe a month or two. And then finally I saw the color with the blood, and holy cow, when those colors come in, it's so great to watch it finally come to life.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up. So until the colors came on, I wasn't fully sure what all this stuff was, right? Because we have seen that this is a book about magic. And yeah, of course, your first thought is blood, but also what if it's not that? What if it's something else?
Oh, yeah.
So that was really cool once we finally got to see the finished product, to get the full picture of the full impact of what the team was going for.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, well, let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about in this issue. This is definitely an action-packed one. So Ryan, please take it away.
Sure. Our synopsis of issue 3, part 1. At a park, Oliver battles the super fast superheroine of the prestige, Wormhole, also known as Hero Dioskate of the Hollow. He finds himself at a huge disadvantage due to his poor health and her super speed, which enables her to dish out multiple injuries in seconds. Oliver's magic briefly fails him, so he resorts to blunt force trauma, brutally kicking Wormhole down after distracting her with a piece of wood. As he prepares to stab Wormhole with the plank, Oliver is suddenly flown away and restrained to a lamppost by an invisible force. The force turns out to be the nanoscopic razor wires. They were created by Wormhole's twin brother Silkworm, or as Oliver knew him, Eris Dioskate of the Hollow.
Man, opening that first page with all the that 9 panel of Oliver just getting the shit beat out of him was amazing. I loved it because I didn't, you don't know where the stuff is going, and after we left issue number 2, it feels like Oliver kind of he had been through it already, so that was really cool.
I liked it that it felt like we just talked about, like something streaming or anything that doesn't hold your hand. Some shows or stories have to go kind of beat for beat to keep the audience with them. There's a little bit of a time jump here. You know, like the last time we saw Oliver, he was not in the middle of a fight. So we're right into the middle of a fight. We're assuming the audience is going to keep up and assume that these are the next enemies. He's on his war path and these are the next opponents. But I just love that issue 1 hits the ground running, but kind of does fall in a certain order. Then we get some answers in 2, and now 3, we're just doing it. Now he's just on his war path, and we're just at the next bad guys. We're at level 3, and we don't even explain how we got there. We're just boom in level 3.
I think it's also in Oliver's perspective how like we have no idea why he's in the middle of a fight with Wormhole, and yet he even says he has no idea how he got there in the first place
It's
anyway.
very true. It's very true. Very meta. Very I can't remember the term for it when you write as if you're kind of the audience. It's not first person, but anyway, good point. It is. We as the audience are disoriented as Oliver is when we start reading.
Yeah, very audience surrogate, if you will. Like, in the fact, like, we don't know, like, all right, when did we get from house to park in like what appears to be the next day, or however long it may have been? Really find that like just kicking it out the gate with just straight hands was perhaps like a really great move on their part. And I just want to like touch up on just how Ryan Stegman was able to convey Wormhole's like speed and movement, you know, just with the blur effects. And like perhaps like my favorite panel was when like he throws the plank, and then you just see half of her face looking at it, and then the other half already like mid grabbing it. Very like action heavy, very like semi anime based, if you will.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
so it was just definitely like one of those. There's Stegman.
Yeah, I think Ryan and you know, like he has a really fun way to show dynamic movement because a lot of artists don't do like a lot of lines, but I think Ryan really leans into that. And of course, JP's inks over all that stuff really convey a lot of that tone that he's going for. So it all really works. I also really like the design of Wormhole. I think she looks very cool. But yeah, just the fight overall, and then to be kind of surprised by, you know, Oliver has to kind of think on his feet. But then even when he thinks he can regain some advantage, Silkworm comes into the picture, right? So
Yeah, but when I look at Silkworm, I don't think hero. I don't want to be saved by a Silkworm. It's a bad prestige costume because he's I don't know. He's got bare feet, creepy hands. I don't know.
Yeah, he looks more like a pervert than a superhero.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank goodness somebody said it, because I was gonna go, who is this man, and why do I not trust him?
Because like why would he want to walk around barefoot if there's a lot of hazards out there? Like even you can't even walk into a restaurant without shoes on.
I mean, this is a dude that just kind of throws like razor wires out there, so he, you know, it's part of the gimmick. I think he's just living the gimmick. But I can't wait to see all the Silkworm cosplayers at the next convention.
And obviously, even though they're fraternal twins, yet when Oliver said that twins are fucking creepy, I mean, it could be worse. It could be like Ultimate Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, or Eska,
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that one.
or Eska and Desna from Korra.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, I think going Ultimates would have been a little too far of an homage.
Then let's go the Eska and Desna route.
Yeah, their names are Diosgate now. It used to be Lannister, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's learn more about Silkworm, right? Because he's a lot more in our next part of it.
All right. So in part 2 of our issue 3 synopsis, the twins attempt to talk Oliver down by explaining they are not the same people he remembers from his childhood. They insist that they have changed for the better, saying that they were brainwashed by Baron Vanish. They claim to have even implored him to step down from his revenge tour. However, Oliver isn't convinced with the twins' new leaf, promptly severing his trapped hand and brutally breaking Wormhole's leg with his foot. Using his free hand, Oliver then swiftly stabs Silkworm in the stomach with the wooden plank. Ouch.
Things really now I can't really stop looking at Silkworm like he's not like the worst person. I get a lot of like Vulture vibes. Like I don't know if you guys have read those stories where he's a little younger,
Yep.
or when you get to see him as a younger. Like I see a lot of that in the character.
Oh,
Uh,
now that you brought up Vulture, now I totally see the resemblance.
He also
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of the grumpy guy from Back to the Future and Masters of the Universe, the all bald, angry guy that was in
Yeah.
every movie in the 80s.
Yeah.
You're a slacker, Oliver. A
Yeah,
slacker.
he
Yeah,
shares-
reminds-
I like that they also try to talk him down.
Yeah, well, there's two of them. They figured maybe because they outnumber him, they can talk some sense into him, but it doesn't work.
Nope, going for the nuclear option, aka losing a hand. That's kind of
And-
hardcore.
This was the first thing that might have been, I think, spoiled for people, thanks to Daniel Warren Johnson's cover. Was the first spoilery cover that Vanish had ever made so far. So
Yeah, that one was definitely like, where are we going with it? Like, well, what did you draw this? Right? I think there's a few more in upcoming covers that are not as revealing, but I feel like I like that Daniel really. I feel like he reads the issue and just kind of like brings out like what he thinks is gonna be the coolest moment in some of those.
oh yeah.
To put that on the cover. But I do wonder if he ever got any feedback like, no, this is too spoilerish. I don't knowing the guys, I don't think they would have. I think they would have even encouraged like, yeah, go for it. But that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, they're Luke Skywalkering this shit.
Yeah, is this a Star Wars book? What's going on? But I also really like that. Like I said, Oliver has to think on his feet. He's outnumbered, out magicked at the moment. But man, there's a lot of planks of wood just laying around this park, which feels like a havoc to me.
I'm wondering now, as you said that, okay, that's why I had to scroll back. It looks like she kicks Wormhole kicks his ass so hard she sends him flying through a park bench.
Oh, okay, that's where they came from. Got it. Yeah, I must have missed that.
It's in the background of it's you can just make it out in the background of one of the top panels that behind Oliver as he's getting up is a destroyed park bench.
Gotcha.
So
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, man, did she break him through a tree?
yeah, no, she they do that thing sometimes with speedsters where their inertia, gives them that super punch. So she somehow sent him flying right through a wooden bench.
Silkworm, get the tables. I purposely did not use the picture of Silkworm at the top of the light because that was definitely that was like, I was like, no way, bro, we're not putting this on the video. But if you have read issue 3, I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It looked cool, but I was like, no, Ryan, we're not. This one's not gonna make it in the show. But that was good.
No, he looked too pervy.
For sure. I see that in the park. I walk the other way immediately.
Do you need help, little girl?
Oh boy.
Like, and I'm out. If I'm a criminal, I'm like, I'm gone.
We'll talk about that in a minute. I do want to talk about some of the aspects of that, but all right, let's keep trucking here.
Sure. All right, part 3 of our issue 3 synopsis. With the twins now incapacitated, Oliver conjures a magic blade to kill Harrow and absorb her magic. This deactivates her glamour upon her death and boosts his strength while regenerating his hand. After watching in horror, Silkworm vows to avenge his sister, but is blasted by Oliver, resulting in Ares' slowly reverting to his true form. Their brawl gains the attention of the media and a local news chopper who broadcasts it on TV. Eleanor watches at home while leaving Oliver a voicemail. After recognizing the deranged man in a cape as her husband, Eleanor promptly hangs up on his cell and calls Deacon Dust's phone in a panic.
Man, this one there's a lot to break down here, I think, because a lot of stuff, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about first. So these guys, the Prestige are superheroes, but like you guys have mentioned, I don't know how the society like just accepts that these guys are good guys. Like they don't look like they're stereotypical like good guys, right? They maybe they've seen them in action, but yeah, I don't know.
I guess maybe since Halcyon is the leader of the Prestige, he looks the most heroic, and
Yeah.
then
Well, I mean,
yeah,
Battle Rocket looks like a hero too, right? I think very much inspired by anime heroes we've talked about in the past, but overall, like a hero, maybe like I feel like they didn't choose a glamour that would benefit specifically Silkworm. I think um, Wormhole looks a lot more superhero-ish than her twin.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of the 90s where superheroes didn't look like superheroes. Superheroes looked like assassins and crazy people. But it also interests me to know the larger world. As far as we like, I don't know, are there superpowered villains? Did anyone come here from Everkeep and say, screw it, I'm going to be a villain? I'm just going to rob and torture and steal? Or that's the same thing.
yeah.
But
Well, Battle Rocket said in issue 1 that the Prestige have only been in town for a few weeks.
that's
True.
true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're based in it. They've been based in a different town, and yeah, we still don't know. Is this New York? Is this what? Where are we? But well, hopefully we'll get some of those answers and then flesh out the Vanish world.
Also makes me kind of think like, okay, if like, why would y'all choose these specific outfits? Like, I'm pretty like, have y'all not gone or seen the citizenry before? Or like, have y'all not been in like society, seen like, all right, these are the heroes, these are typically what they wear? Because if y'all did, y'all definitely would not have picked. As I'm looking at you, Silkworm, definitely would not have picked the outfit that you chose to wear that day.
Well, at least it makes him look less not terrible, because I think it looks like he was a demon in his true form because he's got the red eyes and the one horn.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe his glamour can only do so much. But that's another thing, right? First of all, we get another cool sword, even if it's just a magical sword that Oliver conjures. I think we all know from following these creators, they fucking love swords. We love swords almost as much as chains. But yeah, we get another cool one, and then we get another Oliver power up, which is great. Like I want him to be as powerful as we can because I want to know where all that power is, like what all that's gonna lead to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of like where you at least for me, I'm like, hold on, like this is getting kind of worrying a little bit because like when he's like slowly like, yes, I need more, I need more. I'm like, bro, this is the first step to the dark side, sir. Step number one, crave the power. Step two, murder everybody.
No, it's like potato chips. You can't just have one.
Battle Rocket was just the top of the lid of the the bag.
Oh, and the fact that he wanted to save the twins for like at least later down the line. He wanted to bump off the lesser members of the Hollow first. So does that imply that there's a hierarchy of power, like superpowers in the Hollow?
hey man, we've all played Zelda. No one takes on the two witch team before you've done a few other dungeons first. You know, you
Yeah.
whenever you have to fight a dyad, when you know it's a team, like it is kind of crazy that they basically made it his second fight. You know, he fights Battle Rocket, and then he's on to two twins that have each one of them has a crazy power, and then
Yeah,
together, it's pretty absurd. He beat them so fast. It. I don't know. I
it,
like that it shows his commitment that he's willing to chop off his own hand and murder them and grow it back. It's like, whoa, what extents won't you go to then?
yeah. If in the future we get like more of this stuff, I would like to see the both Wormhole and Silkworm. I'm sure they have to have combo moves, right? I feel like that's something that we didn't get to see just because we are focusing on Oliver's side of the story. Definitely follow him along, but like if we ever go back to like maybe they want to do a book about where the Prestige were before this and how they how they became superheroes, stuff like that. I think that'd be pretty cool.
No,
Um, you know,
no,
guys
I think
feel
a
free to use.
combo would be if somehow Silkworm is incapacitated, his sister could just take his wires and then just like raise everyone through it because she's got super speed.
I'm thinking something like like Silkworm puts up a line of wires and then Wormhole just rushes someone into it, like
Yeah.
something neat like that, something just metal.
As long as they yell it out like an anime show, where
Yeah.
they say, "And with our powers combined, we use our new move, Cheese Grater," and they shove them through the
I, I,
wires.
I did have another question because I know you guys look at a lot of this stuff. I tried not to look at the preview pages as they were coming out on the Substack, but were the was the helicopter sounds? Is that something that Ryan drew in? Do you guys remember looking at the pencils?
What? What?
Or-
What? 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 What?
Yeah, the
I don't
helicopter sounds.
remember.
No, me neither.
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw
Okay,
it.
okay. I'll go back and check. But if you're watching this and you remember, let us know down in the comments. So let's touch on the last part before we move on to the next part of the issue. We get to see Eleanor again, and she knows that Oliver's up to some shit because obviously who else would be doing that? Um, and she calls Deacon, which is like I like that they also have a relationship, right? Like they are like all three of them are kind of friends, and they've been friends throughout all this stuff.
Yeah, they're the three amigos.
Three
Yeah.
Musketeers.
That's right. So, all right. Well, let's find out what's going on with the rest of the people. I think we'll talk about Deacon probably in the last part. So, Ryan, take it away.
All right. Part 4 of her issue 3 synopsis. Silkworm pleads with Oliver to stop the fight since Baron Vanish died years ago and isn't coming back. It's over! Oliver doesn't care since for him it's never over, and uses his magic blade to plunge Eris in the chest, ending the Diosgate twins for good. He proceeds to absorb Eris's magic upon his death, but finds himself cornered by several police. Suddenly, the ground caves in below Oliver. Landing in the sewer, he is met by the Prestige's quote-unquote Hulk named Battery. Oliver senses the, again, quote-unquote fuck ton of dark magic coursing through Battery, exciting him as he yearns to steal it.
I, as we were trying to finish out this fight, like we get one of my favorite sounds, that splunk. It finally comes in, like again. We get to see as he puts the sword through Silkworm. Um, and I also love that panel of like the cops point, not so much, not the one that where you see the cops behind Oliver, but the one where they're pointing the guns at him. So you kind of it's like POV from the gun from the cops, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, that one looks super cool. And it's not over. Like Oliver, it's almost like when you finish a mission in a video game and like you're not really done because there's another boss that was right there in the in the next room. Um,
My problem is when you're kicking his ass and then for movie reasons they stop the fight early and you didn't actually win that fight. The villain gets to walk away because you have to fight him again in a few levels.
yeah, well, these twins did not walk away, and I don't think Battery did either.
They those twins are done for. Though I really do at least appreciate the fact that the cops they're at least willing to try to say, hold on, this crazy man is out here killing some of our superheroes. Let's shoot him.
It does show from their point of view that no matter what was going on, you'd have to assume that Oliver's up to no good. He's covered in blood. He just vampirically drained someone of their magic. He's not dressed like a normal dude. He's dressed like an evil vigilante. So, yeah, it is right to assume that he's up to no good.
And I think that's part of what's cool about Oliver's design, that he doesn't look like a good guy right from the beginning. I mean, I just keep looking at your number one cover back there, Ryan, and like he does
Yeah.
not look like the protagonist or the good guy that you want to follow along in the story, but like his story is very compelling. So like I like that we're going through with it.
Yeah, yeah, it's because since he said at the end of issue 1 that if the Prestige are gonna play good guys, then it's gonna be his turn to play the bad guy in his story.
Yeah, and that's what's fun. I think that's what's fun about this book. Like the book is called Vanish after what we think it's the bad guy, right? Oliver acts like the bad guy, so like everything, like not everything is what it seems. It's almost as if the you know like a glamour over the book that really kind of twists things around for the reader, which is really cool. Like that's just a really fun aspect of this whole story.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before. Using the name of the villain is very like Hannibal Lecter-y, where the you can call it Obi-Wan Kenobi all you want. We all came to watch Vader.
Yeah.
So, that's what I think is cool about this book is that it's named after the villain. Our main character does not look like a hero. It's all about magic. Like, it's their first independent book from the creators, if you know behind the scenes. So, like, you should be expecting the unexpected constantly.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I love it.
And how rad does Battery look? Like
It's a great shot.
Yeah.
that fucking giant hammer. I love it. It just I want a prop of that hammer, right?
Yeah.
I think the
Every once in
closest
a while. I'm sorry, go ahead, Abigail.
I'm just gonna say Battery's hammer. I think that the closest thing that you could get is a prop of Ronan the Accuser's universal weapon.
I I would have to like stuff it with cardboard and like make the hit so much bigger. But yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say I every once in a while with Ryan's art, it's almost like there's something like akin again to a video game where I can almost see like a summons, like he's summoning his inspiration from another artist. When I look at Battery, Joey Mads, like that is Joey Mads so
Yeah.
much like. They worked on Inhumans. They overlapped on Inhumans together and stuff. So like I know straight from Ryan's own mouth, he's a huge Joey Mad fan. So something about that art, it just really got me. It reminds me of his Battle Chaser guys and stuff. And
Yeah,
I don't
see
know.
that. I also the other design for Battery, the one I guess he's not as big. Maybe it is Battery, right? That when we see the Prestige and he's the big guy in the back. The original shot we see in the poster,
Mm-hmm.
it reminds me of Greg Capullo did a story where the Joker turns the Justice League against Batman, so like he has to put on this like battle suit to take them out. So I see a little bit of that Capullo. Like I'm sure he was also an influence for Ryan because like
Oh yeah.
so like all those really nice touches that Ryan can just grab some of those things and put them in a book and in his own way. And the other thing that Ryan does a lot, and I'll go back to this Battery page, like he makes me want to see what else is next to the panel. Like I want his pages to be bigger. Like I want him to draw in like a 300 style design, like Frank Miller did. Like the big horizontal pages, because I want to see what else is there. So
Yeah.
that's just really cool.
And I find it a little bit funny how sometimes I think Ryan must have said it that he calls Battery Furry Hulk.
Yeah, that's really interesting too. Like it's a cool design. Like you have a lot of tech, you have a lot of metal stuff, but you also have like this barbarian almost type of approach to it.
A giant goddamn hammer.
Yep. So
Stop
And
hammer time.
without kissing his ass too much, what I like what Ryan's doing in Vanish is he's like you just kind of said you want to see more. I don't know the correct technique, so I'm just gonna make up a term for it. He's crowding the shot. When you see Hulk in his early incarnations, one of the things that's so fake about him, I think, is there's nothing in the way. You just see this big green monster. There's no cars in the way. There's no pipes in the way. There's nothing in the way because the CG guys just had to work really hard into making him look green and big and stuff. But by the time we got to Avengers and the computers could keep up, the first time we see the Hulk, there's pipes in the way. There's that tight corridor shot. You don't see all of him. It's so much more realistic that that this huge creature would be in a crowded environment because, you know, he occupies so much space. So I think that's the best thing he did with Battery is, you know, Oliver's in this huge sewer, you know, like it looks like 15, 20 feet tall sewer, and Battery's almost hunched over filling the sewer. So it's a great use of angles and what was the term they taught me? Not perception, but anyway, the layout is great where he's obviously in the universe. They didn't design the shot to show everything. It really feels like he's right there on location.
Perspective?
Maybe. It's the thing we were talking about on the stream one day. I was like, I always hear people using that word. What's that word mean? And Ryan explained it to me, and now I forget it. I'll remember it later.
If you remember it, we'll tweet it. We'll tweet that part out.
Foreshortening.
It'll be it'll be our companion piece to this episode because I do want to know what you're talking about. So, but I agree. I completely agree. Like it takes time to put that much detail into something. When you were describing the Hulk, I just keep thinking of that scene where they don't let him in the elevator. Endgame, right? That,
whoa.
Yeah, Battery never gets in the elevator with the rest of the Prestige. He's got to take the stairs, and they live in a big, at the top of a mountain, so it's got to be tough getting all the way down there. So
I think Battery removes the glamour first, and then they can go in the elevator.
Right. Yeah, Battery should be fine, but yeah, no, not Hulk.
All right. Well, let's wrap up this issue and then we'll talk about some more stuff because this one definitely has been very exciting.
All right. So part 5, our finale of issue 3. Meanwhile, Deacon Dust is at the theater listening to Eleanor's voicemail. She is worried about Oliver's increasingly volatile behavior and asks Deacon to call her back. Deacon does so, but only reaches her voicemail, instructing her to stay put since the Prestige are dangerous people. As Dustin walks into his dressing room, he is ominously greeted by none other than their leader, Halcyon.
Dun, dun, dun.
Homelander, is that you?
Yeah. What a way to end your issue with introducing Halcyon, which, like, first of all, until we did this podcast, I didn't know how to pronounce his name, so thank you guys very much for that. For some reason, I always kept reading it like with the C and the L backwards, but yeah, it's really we haven't even seen him and he looks cool. Like I think Ryan's also very good at that, at not showing us and still being pretty amazed. So
yeah, definitely like conveys just how menacing, terrifying, and just how like Deacon, you're kind of in a screwed scenario. How are you going to get out of this one, buddy?
What and why it makes you think like why is Halcyon there? Like what is he trying to accomplish by going to visit Deacon? Obviously, they knew Deacon was there because I mean I don't think Deacon he hasn't been hiding where he is, right? He's in the entertainment, he's in the showbiz, so obviously he's out there. So I want to know why that is. But let's walk back a little bit to Eleanor's voicemail because, like I said, they don't get in touch with each other. But I'm glad that Deacon calls her back, at least to leave a message and just kind of warn her about the Prestige. But I feel like Eleanor's already kind of in the know about like the Prestige and all that stuff. I feel like she's smart enough to kind of put a lot of those pieces together.
I am just. It makes me nervous how much Halcyon. It makes me nervous because there's like these threads of the story that finally kind of reconnect in a way we didn't expect. Where Oliver knows the Prestige know Oliver. Oliver's got his friends. The Prestige know obviously more than they let on because now those two threads have connected where Halcyon's right talking to his friend, his confidant, the one that thinks they need to keep it quiet. So it felt poetic that the one scared about not pissing off the Prestige is the first one to have to kind of confront them in this really terrifying way.
Yeah, for sure.
And we get more shirtless Deacon for all the ladies, for all the Deacon fans out there, whoever you are. So
Listen, if I look like that, I would never wear a shirt.
now the
I'll
dude's
tell you
shredded.
that.
No,
Earth do not exist with me.
I don't know if you guys ever saw Community, but there was the one hippie played by that really funny actor, and he was allowed to pop his shirt off because he was like so ripped. It's like no one even cared. So,
That's
I get it.
That's Deacon, for
I
sure.
get it, and I'm jealous. But I mean, even when we go to Halcyon, when we see that costume, it's kind of silly, right? That his belt buckle is a giant exclamation point. It's kind of a silly costume. Like, it should be silly looking, but at that moment, it's truly terrifying.
Yeah.
So it's very odd.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be a reference to like Image, its logo, and Invincible, since he also has the same deal.
Yeah.
Yes, I like it. It feels like a double homage to the father and son combo because he's kind of creepy like the father, but he's got the son suit. So
Now, I like that Halcyon, he doesn't have to float there, but he chooses to. Like that. Once again, if I could fly, I would never touch the ground if I didn't need to. Right? Like,
Yeah.
just it feels like a power move to just show up, and also I want to know like is how much of his powers that he shows as Halcyon is that part of the glamour? How much of it is really power that comes from him? Right? Like. And I think really for all the characters, I like to know like the glamour does a lot for them, but like how much of that really is the magic that they're using.
that's a good question. Like, so I mean, super speed is pretty universal. Where super speed, but the razor wire again, like. Was he using it more horrifically? Was he just ripping people apart when he was part of the Hollow? And now, now he turns it into little baskets where he can like get a kitten out of a tree by using his very soft wires, So how
Right.
do the powers change
Yeah.
depending on their persona? That's a good question.
Well, Oliver did mention in the beginning that Wormhole, when she was Harrow, that she practices Wraith magic, whatever that is, and that's what allows her to get super speed.
Oh,
Ooh,
I see.
good catch.
Good
Well,
catch,
and Abigail even mentioned right like the battery remove the glamour to like get into smaller spaces and stuff like that. So
I wonder how in the world did Halcyon get inside Deacon Dust's room? Did he like blow a hole through the wall? Did he just walk right on in there? He's just like, "What up? I'm here.
There's
me
windows. I
He-
don't know.
I want to see the lost panels of Halcyon glamoring up like a cleaning person, just like with his little cart going into the.
Housekeeping.
Maybe that'll be the fan fiction that we do. We'll just do all the panels that you don't see in between the pages.
The deleted scenes. I love it.
We got people. We are very creative people in this screen here, so I think we can get it done.
Somewhere there was a kid tapping his mom on the shoulder while they're stuck in traffic, looking down an alley, trying to watch Halcyon like sneak into a window, and his cape is stuck. Mommy, that's Halcyon. Not now, Timmy. Mommy's driving.
Right.
I can imagine him like he barely gets through almost right when he just like, oh, so
Yeah, he barely recovers in time. Deacon just missed him tripping on his cape.
Yeah, his cape got stuck in the window. He was trying to get it
In the
out.
words of Edna Mode, no capes.
No capes.
Right.
That's why.
Halcyon doesn't believe in that. Halcyon hasn't seen The Incredibles, although maybe he did, and that's why he has the eye.
Hey man, we just talked about Silkworm's costume. Edna does not exist in this universe. She would have said, no, honey, we are fixing this. Put
She
something
would-
on those feet.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're wearing shoes, damn it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, let's move it along. We do have a few things in our other segment, so let's go talk about our fan perspective. We have a little bit of insight. Like I said, a lot of us, especially not so much me, but the rest of the panel really has been following this a lot closer. So let's talk about the bad kids, because we know a little bit more about Silkworm and Wormhole from just being in the Substack and the community and stuff. So Abigail, do you want to kick us off? I feel like you kind of took the lead on this, and then me try and jump in as you guys want.
Abigail's the baddest kid in town.
That's right.
So yeah, sure. So yeah, the twins, Silkworm and Wormhole. Yeah, when I first watched this video, Ryan said that he and Donnie, they wanted these twins, like a boy and a girl, but they were working on the guy first. So Ryan came up with the idea that he wanted Silkworm to have the powers of to create nanofilaments like a silkworm, and then it was either him or Donnie that well, when he was retelling the story, that said naturally they'll just call him Silkworm just because of those razor wires. And then for his sister, they wanted to make her a speedster, and then tying that in with teleportation via super speed. So naturally, she would be Wormhole. And then they became really fixated that since because they're twins, they both gotta have the word worm in their names.
I think that might have even been why she was a speedster. I think I remember them saying that they wanted to make it ironic that her name was Worm, but she was going to be super fast. Because you don't think of, you think of Worm as slugging around the ground. So they leaned into it even more by making her power ironic to naming her a worm.
I remember correctly. I believe it was because like originally how they were going to design her was to like have her kind of teleport. So that's where like the wormhole part comes in. But then like, now let's just make it seem like she does teleport, but she teleports using super speed. So there you go.
Got it.
I like it. Yeah, and a lot of this stuff, it comes from the guys were pretty good about putting some of their stuff on their on the newsletters for the Substack. So like we knew a few of these things that were coming, but we didn't really understand the magnitude of how they would impact the comic, right? Because it's just little bits and pieces that, like we talked about, they tried not to spoil too much. Sometimes they probably just very excited to put some stuff out there. So that was really neat process. So
when you hear about twins, I was just thinking like, oh, evil Wonder Twins, or something
Yeah.
like that, but I certainly didn't think of, it took a while for my brain to put the cover and our teasing of the twins together. Like, wait a minute, that dude ripping Oliver's face apart is one of the twins you've been talking about? Like, oh, these twins are nothing to mess with. So it finally came together right before issue came out that, oh wow, the twins are a threat. They just kind of seemed gimmicky for a while, and now you can see how those two superpowers with twins, which are supposed to have a weird connection, so maybe they assume each other's moves and fight well together.
Yeah,
since they have their twin powers.
Yeah, they do say that twins do have some sort of special power. One can feel the other's pain or something.
Yeah.
I hope that's not true.
Yeah, because otherwise Silkworm, Wormhole got stabbed when Silkworm got stabbed. So,
yeah. Although I guess I don't like Wormhole as much, so maybe this is just an episode of us dunking on Wormhole, and I hope he's not like Ryan's favorite character or like
You mean
Donnie's favorite
Silkworm?
Silkworm,
Yeah, Silkworm. Sorry, I hope like he's not their favorite character, because if they're watching this, they might unsubscribe and start watching.
But honestly, I thought that Silkworm, before they were officially named, I thought Silkworm was gonna go to the girl because she looks like a silkworm. Like she looks like she could be named Silkworm.
Yeah,
she's got silky black hair, so
for sure. Cool. Let's move on to some of our Easter eggs that have been spotted or things that we want to talk about. So, Ryan, why don't you kick us off with this?
Sure. I got strong. I don't know if it's an Easter egg. I guess it would just be, I think, an influence, or certainly the vibe I got when we watched Oliver lose his hand. Felt to me like we were going straight into the Evil Dead territory. It's been a gruesome, put Oliver through the ringer comic from the start, and that's what Evil Dead is. We just torture Ash till he loses his mind, lopping his own arm off. To get free. So it just felt like that's what we were seeing. It felt very Evil Dead, very over the top, Sam Raimi style.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And also, to piggyback on what they were just talking about the bad kids and Silkworm's invention. To me, I think I talked about this last time with the glasses in the room. Felt very Helsing. Walter C. Dornez, the amazing butler with his wires, like that's the master of wires. That's if you're ever making a character that does the razor wires in anime, I'm assuming it's because you watched Helsing. So I would have to assume that was one of Ryan's inspirations for that character. He's just amazing.
Now I kind of want to go back and watch Hellsing again.
It's a great show, man.
Now that you
Both versions.
just reminded me of that stuff.
Yeah, both versions. You got the first one with the jazz, skip scow,
Yeah.
where it's crazy, and then Hellsing Ultimate, where it's much more reliable to the manga and goes far deeper and far further down the story. But both are good for their own reasons.
You know, I also see a lot of in the very little that we've seen of Baron Vanish. I see some Alucard or maybe the other way around. So,
Oh yeah, I can see that for sure.
very cool. Yeah, Hellsing, go check it out, kids.
And Meech already mentioned this. We see some devil horns. So what's going on? We've heard wraith magic. Now we're seeing devil horns. So it seems like there's necrotic, dark, sinister magic going on with the Vanish, with the Hollow that we didn't we didn't really know that was going to be a thing when we meet the early comics. Everyone just has magic. They're called the Ravens. We don't really know what form their magic takes, but now we know there's at least some aspect of it that is demonic or seemingly purely evil, and they use it. So
Well, Battery practices dark magic because Oliver could sense it.
Yeah.
a fuck ton of dark magic. Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so for all these superheroes, they all seem to be using the scariest of magics. And then if you grew up in the 90s before superhero movies were running amok, there was a dark superhero movie called Dark Man, with Liam Neeson playing a crazy man. So
As opposed to all those other movies.
yeah, I've got a very special set of skills where I can change my face into other people. So that kind of felt like Oliver a little. There was a little Dark Man vibe, especially when Danny, you were talking about that POV shot from the police.
Mhm.
That felt very Dark Man to me. We see this guy; he's in all black. He's supposed to be the hero, but he does not look like a hero. So that with knowing the age of those guys, they were definitely kids in the 90s. So I would have to assume Darkman was an influence to both Ryan and Donnie. So I think that's where some of that snuck into Vanish.
Ain't Darkman also a Sam Raimi movie as well?
Wow, it is. Great catch. Darkman 1 is, at least. I don't know about the others. I don't think he came back for 2 and 3, but yeah, I believe you're right. I think Sam Raimi did do it. I'm
Very
going to Google it while we pass the mic to someone else. I'm going to Google that.
All right, Mitch, what do you got for us?
All right, so seeing as how we love Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman, their ability to certainly like recall themselves and like make references to themselves in their prior work. And we already mentioned how in the first episode, in the first issue, how like Oliver kind of looked like Eddie Brock but with black hair. In this one, it took another inspiration from Venom in their run in the issue 22, where Eddie also cuts off his hand, and it happens to be the same hand too. So yeah, it was almost actually in an exact similar scenario. So I'm just like, so I guess they're just fans of just cutting off hands. I mean,
Hey, if I did something really cool in a work that was not controlled fully by me, and then I was making my own thing, I would definitely use it. Look, I mean, you can't really steal from yourself, right? So
I guess it is just them patting their hands right on the back over there.
yeah,
But yeah, and then going on to like another anime like inspired that I noticed was when Oliver like he turned his hand into a blade, and I just immediately got Goku Black vibes from
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
Just immediately the best man to ever turn his hand into an energy blade to impale everybody expeditiously.
Yeah, if Oliver's magic was pink, then that would have been it's so heavy-handed.
Yeah, But fortunately, we know that they're smarter than that.
I think I just rewatched that. I rewatch a lot of Dragon Ball on TikTok, just little scenes, and I'm sure I just caught that when, well, I don't even want to spoil for anyone, but somebody puts the blade through someone else because they're immortal. So like, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm. Oh yeah, and then finally, as I kind of semi-joked with earlier, Halcyon is he clearly just pulled a Homelander. I mean, just him posting up like that. That's all Homelander vibes. That's all like what he did throughout the comic, and what he did in the show as well. When he pulled up on Huey and the gang, just like hello there, and he's just like no. Oh, is how he did Billy Butcher in season 3. When,
Oh yeah,
when he just showed up in his house. I was like, no, you can't just do that.
Who let you in?
Apparently, walls let you in.
All right. Do you guys have anything else before we move on? I think we're very close to the end of the episode. I think the fact that there was so much action on this one doesn't leave a lot of room for a lot of the other stuff. But I think overall, this was a good way to like bring it. I mean, we only have one more before the arc, as you will, because the first trade collects issues 1 through 4. So we only have one more episode before it would be a good stopping point for the arc. Yeah, if you guys don't have anything else, we can move on.
I just want to talk about my favorite panels whenever we're ready to do that.
I mean, I think we're at that point.
So my favorite panels, which Danny will throw up in post, are when he's got his hand cut off because it's full of onomatopoeias. It's full of audible sounds. I mean, literally every single one has a sound effect. Og! Crack! Split! Chunk! As the hand falls on the ground, like... I mean, it's a Foley person's dream to be sitting there with, all the sound effects, crack, crunch. I mean, I would love to see this turn into an anime or a TV show, and I would just love to be the guy that gets to make all the sound effects that Ryan has drawn into them. Danny, you already brought it up. Splunk.
Oh, yeah.
When he impales Wormhole. And I want to talk about circle back to that sword in just a second. But then in the next one, going diagonal, very graphic design, kind of like marketing, looks almost like a Nike poster. Ryan does the slice as Oliver kind of does, again, a very anime, kind of looks like Voldo from Soul Calibur for my Street Fighter fans, for my fighting game fans. It's got a Voldo look to it as he slices with the two swords. And to circle back to the swords, in this hand, in his right, it's an energy sword that kind of comes straight up like a giant hidden blade, very Spawn. Reminds me of the blades that come up in the Spawn movie. And in the other hand, he's got something that looks more akin to He-Man's sword, the Power Sword, where it's got these, symmetrical protectors that are also have grooves meant to capture and manipulate other swords. So I just love how dynamic the weapons are. I mean, they could just be beams of energy. They could just be lightsabers sticking out of his hands like Kingdom Hearts. But instead, each weapon he's made has a lot of personality to it. Maybe he's seen it in the armory when he was a kid. But I just like how... and they can sneak in the references like... maybe we'll see some other weapons from Stegman and Cates in future issues.
Dude, if Halifax shows up in this fucking comic book, I'm gonna lose it.
I don't know, for a deep cut for anyone that likes California punk, The Offspring have this one theme. Dun 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 dun. They use it at the end of like 3 albums. They use it in one of their songs, We Want to Change the World. And it's just weird that they have this one theme that they just keep using over and over in a bunch of their songs. So when you guys were going back and forth talking about homaging yourself, I was like, I know someone else that's done that. And the Offspring have this one theme that they just keep bringing back. So it seems for Ryan and Donnie, you're going to see their weapons keep coming back as many times as they can bring them. So.
I love that. I mean, they're good weapons, so I would not use them again.
Yeah.
They're all pretty cool. I'm waiting till we see the crossover sword. I'm waiting till maybe in a future issue if some very powerful people show up, because I don't want to spoil future issues. But if someone very powerful shows up and he's wielding the crossover sword or something, I think that'd be very cool.
Yeah, I wonder. I would say maybe even get characters from Vanish in crossover. Because it could make sense over there. Maybe we get to see the twins again. Show up in crossover. So cool. All right. Well, we're running out of tape here. Do you guys have any final thoughts on issue number 3 before we close it out?
Oh, I just forgot to share when we were talking about the pencils earlier. I got this the 1 in 250 incentive raw variant that I won from Third Eye's auction a while back.
Keep that up. Let's give the audience a good look, because you know what else I really like about this one? When you see it with the dress cover and everything, you don't really notice. Well, I originally didn't really notice, Silkworm behind Oliver. It wasn't until I saw some of the other variants when I was putting stuff together for a review that I was like, "Oh shit, there's somebody right behind them." So
There's a face attached to those hands.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Oliver's like right there, front and center. Like he taking all your attention, and then just like, and then Silkworm just doing what Silkworm does best and be creepy. Like, hello.
Yeah.
I was talking to my
That's
I
right.
was talking to my brother one time, and he said, What's one of your favorite Superior Spider-Man covers? I said the one where Superior and 2099 are on the cover, and 2099's kind of hiding. And my brother goes, Wait, what? And I show him the cover. He had no idea. Superior's on top of the gargoyle, and 2099's on the bottom, hiding underneath the gargoyle. The issue had been out for years. My brother had no idea that 2099 was hiding on the bottom. So it's amazing when an artist can. Oh, and the word was composition. So it's amazing when the artist can use the composition to, draw your attention one way and hide, bury the lead right behind it.
Very cool.
Hiding the answer in plain sight.
All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. But before we get out of here, let's get some plugs, because we all do all sorts of things all over the internet. So Meech, we'll kick it off with you. Where can people find you? What are you up to?
All right, so of course, like I said, it was the Rogue Jedi 21 on TikTok. For however long we got TikTok, because I'm pretty sure that's getting shut down. But yeah, and then there's also the Blurred City podcast, found on all podcast platforms. In fact, we just announced that we are starting up season 3. So our season 3 is actually going to be kicking off. Well, at the time of this recording, like the week after, actually 2 weeks after. My bad, because that week we're actually recording it. But in times for the Guardians review. So yeah, that's definitely something we're looking forward to, and definitely for you guys to hey, check us out.
Very cool. Abigail, what do you got going on?
Everyone can catch me on Twitter at Abigail K. Mendoza, where I'll occasionally put up some fan art. I recently just, at the beginning of the month, did an homage to Ryan's Superior Spider-Man #1 cover, where, I put a Spider-Gwen instead. So if that's your sort of thing, you can go check that out. I also do another show with the aforementioned Spider-Gwen called Ghost Spider Groupies. So you can also check that out on all podcast platforms and on Twitter at GS Groupies.
Very cool. Ryan Michael, what do you got going on?
I'm always making silly stuff. Ryan Michael Toon on Twitter and YouTube. Haven't been making as much lately, but gonna rev back up soon. And all I want to say for our if we have any fans or followers out there is hold on to your butts, because issue 4 is my personal favorite. We live in a world where issue 6 just came out as we're recording this, and issue 4 is still my favorite issue of Vanish so far. So be very excited for our next episode, where Hopefully it'll be a long one because we're gonna have plenty to talk about. It's a great issue. So
I'm very excited for that one as well. So interesting. I hadn't ranked the issues. Maybe I'll do that by the time we get caught up to
Yeah.
Vanish.
I will have to say the best thing about this is when and I guess I'll spoil something. Issue 3 is actually on the lower end of my scale. I wanted to, like, what's the term? I didn't want to say worst issue because there's not a bad issue.
Right.
I would just say less radical issue. So, you know, like they're all good so far, but 4 is my top dog. 4 is the beast. I loved it. So I felt it needed a foreshadow shout out because it's my favorite.
Yeah, adding on to that, I'm gonna jump on and say that just because I'm a little bit biased, not to spoil anything, issue 5.
Issue 5 for reasons.
Interesting. I like the tease. Keep the people coming back. If you're watching this, let us know without any spoilers what your favorite issue is of Vanish, or put out the whole list, whatever. Maybe we'll get to read it. There have been a few comments, so we appreciate that. We appreciate everybody watching. You can find me at Echo Spider in most social media platforms, and then on this channel where I do other reviews and stuff like that. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I definitely can't wait for the next one. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and y'all have a good one. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye.
Hey.